Yo, my name's Aaron, and in this lesson we're going to be learning Anyone by Justin Bieber. We'll start by learning the strumming pattern, then we'll learn the chord shapes one at a time, then we'll learn how they fit into the different sections. So, let's get zoomed in. So starting with the strumming pattern, before we learn it, it's worth noting that it works best from 1:11 where the song really starts to pick up pace and kick off a little bit more. Up until that point, you're just going to do single chord strums, but we'll talk about that in the next section. So your strumming pattern played slowly is going to sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and down, 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 down. So all downstrokes here, but put in very specific places and played in a very specific way. Notice how beat 2 and the and of beat 3 and the and of beat 4 stand out from the rest, okay? That's because 1, you're going to be playing those ones a little bit harder than the rest, and 2, you're going to be playing all of the strings, but when you're playing the ones that aren't accented, the ones that don't stand out, you're only playing 1 or 2 strings. So if I do it once again very slowly, you should be able to hear that. Down, 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 down. Did you notice that? And that's your strumming pattern. Well done for learning the strumming pattern. Let's get into the chords one at a time. We've got a total of 6 different chords in this song. Let's take a look at them one by one. The first one is a D chord. Then we have this version of a G chord. I prefer to play it without the A string because it sounds much clearer. Then we've got a D with an F sharp in the bass. Notice how that is your standard D chord, but you're just bringing the thumb over onto the 2nd fret of the low E. A little bit difficult if you've not done that before. And making sure that the A string is muted. Then we have an A sus4. Careful that you don't play the low E there because that's muted. And then we drop that 3rd finger down, and that gives us a standard open A chord. And the hardest chord of this song is a B minor chord. I'm going to show you 2 ways to play this chord. One of them is slightly harder, one of them slightly easier. So your slightly harder version is a bar chord, where you have to bar across the 2nd fret and use the other 3 fingers to form the rest of the chord. But if you're not yet comfortable with bar chords, what you can actually do is, instead of barring with that 1st finger, you can take it down to the 2nd fret of the high E string, leave the other fingers where they are, but just make sure that you don't play the low E or the A string. Now that you've got the chord shapes down, you can put them into the different sections of the song. Let's do it. We're going to start with verse 1, which comes in at 4 seconds. I'll play it nice and slowly so it's easy to follow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and stop. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Notice how most of the chords are just 1 strum on the 1st beat of every bar, but then when you go from A sus4 to A, you're actually changing on beat 1 and then changing again on beat 3. And that final bar of the verse is empty. Let's move on to the chorus, which comes in at 37 seconds and goes as follows. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now that same sequence goes round 4 times for the chorus. It's exactly the same each time. This could be quite tricky if you've not done it before. Coming in on the and of 4 and also the and of 2, we call that a push. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, so that can be a little tricky if you're not used to it. At the end of chorus 1, we have an empty bar at 1 minute 9 seconds. That just lasts for 4 beats. And then we come into the verse again at 1 minute 11. It's going to be identical to verse 1, but you're going to apply the strumming pattern to the whole thing. And that empty bar at the end of verse 1 is still there. Everything's the same, it's just you're going to do the strumming pattern instead of single strums. So as an example, the first few bars of verse 2 would go like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, you get the idea. Everything else is exactly the same, just apply the strumming pattern. Then we have the second chorus at 1 minute 44, and it's completely identical to the first chorus. So you're just back to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and again, and you repeat that for the same amount of times, 4 times. At the end of the second chorus, there is no empty bar this time. You're going straight into the bridge, which is 2 minutes 18. Now the whole point of the bridge is to build up tension for the final chorus, and what you're going to do is you're just going to use your strumming pattern over all of the chords of this bridge, and it will go as follows. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 2 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And that's it for your bridge. And just build up as much tension and aggression really as you possibly can. Then we get to the final chorus at 2 minutes 34. For most of this chorus, you're going to now do the full strumming pattern that we've learned. But for the first 2 bars, you're only going to do the chord stabs on beat 1 of those 2 bars. You'll hear that in the demonstration. And then for the last few bars, it's pretty obvious in the recording, but it's just vocals, nothing behind it. So final chorus played slowly goes like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. If it's not you, it's not anyone. Thanks a lot for watching that lesson. Let me know in the comments section if you thought this tutorial was useful or if there's anything I could improve on. And remember to hit the subscribe button and notification bell if you don't want to miss any future lessons. Until then, I'll see you in the next one and check out one of these.